A very warm welcome to the YourNest family, to each one of you, especially our entrepreneurs. It is because of your endeavor that we VCs and we investors exist. It is for these investors as well who actually give wings to the dreams of these entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for being there all along in the YourNest journey and looking forward to join this journey of entrepreneurship and innovation. It's, how it's all about having a dream to build a better world. Whether we come as VCs or any entrepreneur who takes on a mission. And that's the reason we enjoy this journey. What are we looking forward to? Why do these entrepreneurs come and exist? It's just because we know the world that was there yesterday has changed significantly every now and then. And what we have seen in the last 1 week is offering humongous and mammoth new opportunities for our entrepreneurial world. May that be in the brick and mortar world, they have to now quickly adopt to a digital India. As far as the digital tech environment is concerned, that with the connected world, with billions and billions of phones connected, and the journey of this, with what Modi has done last week, I can't tell you. For us, the growth of the smartphones will multiply and faster. The journey of that billion phones that we were talking about will happen in 4 to 5 years from now. We believe that will be faster and faster. Everybody of them is on voice biometrics or on biometrics. And why voice biometrics? Because I know one of our companies will make them voice biometrics. Each one of them is actually going to be having money on the wallet. Let me give an example. 1,000 rupees idle in my physical wallet. If that move to a mobile wallet, for 1 billion people, amount of money that will be available to the banking system and financial systems to transaction is mind-boggling. And for me, each startup of ours is going to be benefited by that. Today, whether I look at SmartQ, whether I look at Momark or look at Fashlot, their problem is that the customer comes and offers cash when he can pay digitally. If this problem is solved, these companies will flourish. On the other hand, our tech partners like Unifor, they're already in discussion with large payment gateway companies. Can we enable Paytm, for example, to make a transaction? A person in Bangla speaks and says, please send this particular money to so-and-so at family, so many rupees. It can happen, and the technology is available here and now. They will be supported by an artificial intelligence platform at the back end to be able to do the transaction after looking at the API connects that are there. Even one of our companies which have been laggard despite a wonderful product. We have a company called Proof of Performance. That company is not able to thrive because of black money or black economy. Now, we will see a better future for you, Harjap. Encash on that. I think your problem with this particular change will be eradicated totally, and you will be able to grow better. This brings to me to talk deeper about what we have done in YourNest Angel Fund. It was just 35 people, 17.75 crore rupees, March 2012, that the journey started. It was your faith and trust that gave birth to YourNest. We happened to invest in 4 companies in the first 2 years. Just by showcasing these 4 businesses, we were able to bring partners. The first one to come on board was SIDBI from the India Opportunity Fund, contributed 9 crore of rupees in a time, April 2013. That was our time, money. If we wouldn't have got the money from you, YourNest wouldn't have been in existence. We had commitments to make to our startups, and we wanted them to nurture more and more. Thanks for you coming at the right time, and thanks to the government for taking that particular effort. And then it was Northgate who happened to do a diligence which was unparalleled. It was a 1 year plus of diligence on YourNest, on all partners. The companies we rejected to invest, they wanted to speak to each one of them. The ones we happened to give the term sheets, they wanted to speak to them as to why we happened to reject them. Obviously, they spoke to each of our companies and each one of our partners, one by one, to be able to take that call. We are proud. Northgate is a $5 billion fund of funds, which has investments in Sequoia, Excel, Matrix, and us. So that gives us the pride too. IIFL Seed Ventures. This was a first of its kind fund of funds in India. India needs fund of funds because many a times it will be difficult for you to choose which fund manager to invest in. Today, you're getting the opportunity to interact with us directly, but most of the investors worldwide or in India may not be able to get that particular opportunity. Hence, may like to go with a specialist to make a choice in India as well to make an investment. So IIFL came into being. With all this, the 90.25 crore corpus came into being. We were able to support 16 companies. Genesis of venture capital industry is that somebody has an idea and we as investors have to give the wings to them. You gave us the wings and now we have the endeavor to blossom many of those companies or startup ideas that are there. Let me reflect back here. There's a metaphor that we talk about at our office. The nest is a space which 10,000 bird species create and build their future. And you know, what do? The birds or a couple get together from the bird's most mundane items. They create a beautiful nest. And in that particular nest, the kind of hardware, the kind of failures they go through, the kind of co-creation they do, how beauty, it's a world of joy that they create in which they nurture the things. We want to replicate the same thing for our startups. We want to have this as the place where the entrepreneurs can demonstrate with their hard work, have a sense of purpose to build something most beautiful, and we should be able to handhold them and at the same time provide a safety net to not only a safe harbor, a safe haven for our investors as well. The job of a fund manager is at any point in time is to deliver optimal returns while making this. As a financial institution, our obligation is that this is done at a minimal reduced risk. How do we go about doing it? You know, India is going to be a $4 trillion economy. Every sector, whichever you invest in, will prosper and will give you returns. The only aspect is that we have to look at which is the sector that is going to be giving disproportionate and have the possibility of unparalleled or phenomenal returns possibility. And that's the reason we've chosen tech and tech-enabled businesses for us to be able to invest and build a team around that. That tech and tech-enabled focus happens to cut down or bring our focus very sharp onto lesser number of deals to be evaluated by us. Second, we never go after, we don't have FOMO. FOMO is actually stands for fear of missing out. But in our boardroom, it is called flavor of the month opportunity. We have to let go of flavor of the month opportunity. And hence, multiple of those 1,200 ideas that reach our table are dropped out there. Another, we said we will only invest after customer validation. That means we are not going to be looking at 80% of the companies which reach us prior to customer validation. This saves us, as against 20 ideas that reach us every day, to meet only 2 of them in a day. And that's how we're able to stay focused and still do a good job of shortlisting the right ideas. Other aspect, differentiation, a contrarian approach. We were the first one to be able to say that we will invest in B2B businesses, in analytics businesses, and enterprise software products. The software products, the biggest, the bold move by the entrepreneur is when he starts selling his licensed product as software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. You know, if he doesn't deliver on single day to the customer, his order can be cancelled. These are the kind of businesses that we happen to go and select. What we know, international studies have shown a differentiation approach where, let me use some technical words out here, where some best ideas being supported by you of some active shares. Active shares are the shares there where you are actually the lone fund manager investing in those ideas and spending lots of time in that particular sector. They give disproportionate returns to the investors. That's the reason we've chosen to be different in our portfolio composition. Next thing that we learned is that don't sprinkle your funds across 40, 50, 70 companies. Build a smaller portfolio, a concentrated portfolio, but yet a very well diversified portfolio. In our portfolio today, we have companies from one that are affecting the lives of the people to travel, to hospitality, to healthcare, to financial. Means each and every sector that we can say we are touching through this particular portfolio of diverse portfolio. Again, the research says that if you invest in 15 to 30 companies, the portfolio risk is reduced to the minimal. Anything investment beyond those 30 companies, your returns start reducing. That's the reason, as a portfolio manager, we have to do a job like, we actually adore Motilal Oswal because he follows this particular principle of only investing in 16 to 30 companies in each fund and consistently outperforms. Because we have a smaller portfolio, we are able to co-create with the entrepreneurs. We are able to pick their call and spend time with them when they need us. We don't need to be poking them and sitting on their head, but should be available when they want us to be able to help them in their fundraising activity, whenever they want introductions or so. Many of these businesses have thrived on that. We believe 4 general partners of the caliber that we've been put together in this particular YourNest is a unique combination until now for a pre-Series A fund which invests between 3 to 4 crore of rupees in a company. We haven't been able to come across such a fund which does this with such profile of people behind it. Investment, 16 companies we invested over a period of 4 years. Look at the patience that we have to have. We said we'll ride every economic cycle. We invested in a tight liquidity period, in a sanity period, in exuberance period. We just rode some unique business proposals, and in the softening period that started since the last 16, 17 months, we went berserk to invest at that particular point in time, and that was the opportunity to invest. Investment is about being conservative. Some of the startups that you're meeting out here, we have made them wait for 2 years before their business model could refine or get refined to what we want to invest in. I couldn't have invested in Opki or this P-Cloudy company till that time they went to US and demonstrated a SaaS platform works for their product for us to be able to invest. 2 years it took for them to go set up the shop in US, and then we invested. CloveNet, they're going to be presenting to you today. They came with the business model in December 14, but we patiently sat. The check in their company went in on October 16, after they had the right business model and right partners. And we value that there has to be a cost efficiency in the sense that low cash burn is the thing that we love in our companies, and until then, we don't come into the businesses. Today, you will come across entrepreneurs who are there in 20s and even in 60s in our portfolio. It is such a cross leverage. We happen to organize a 3-day leadership workshop. And such workshops are never organized by people. Just because we have the ability to interact with them, we will happen to nurture a feeling of cross-promotion and cross-learning between them. Today, the people in 60s are experienced people who are guiding them within that. We are guiding them, and they know how to reach out to the technology guys within the young systems and leverage that. The world is changing. In the last 24 hours, the flight of capital back to US has started. If this is sustained, as fund managers, we have to ensure our companies keep getting the food and they keep getting to build. When we made a last investment, committed a last investment in March, we retained 30% of the capital committed by you for follow-on rounds in these companies. Even today, we have sufficient capital available to be able to nurture them, let whatever flight of capital will happen, we will be able to sustain you through the bad periods. In case there is a shortage of capital, you go ahead and fulfill your dream. Let me now touch on the real numbers. The real numbers, in any venture capital fund, first 3 to 4 years is a period when you're only investing. Your expenses are rocketing. You're only working towards going and meeting entrepreneurs and investing in them. This NAV chart, 10,000 rupees NAV comes down to 99,000 rupees in the first 3 to 4 years. The jump starts when the next round of funding starts happening in the companies. It is the hidden value or the intrinsic value of the assets when they have been invested by us, which is not reported in this NAV ever. You get to see only when the next up round happens, the value increasing. Yes, today, we've just had 5 up rounds in the companies, but as I mentioned, only 4 companies are less than 2 years old, or more than 2 years old. So there is an opportunity for us to keep building. 18.7% is what we are sitting on the gross IRR. Looks very, very, very meek and low. Just to give an example out here, there are 2 internal rounds we've done. 2 companies are doing so well that we have done a round at a higher valuation than the first round that we did. We invested and our co-investors invested. But we can't consider that up round just because an external investor has not come and invested in them. Yes, the value has gone up for them. There is a company which in October happened to get an up round. If we capture those 2, today there is a notional IRR of 25.04%, and journey has just begun. Girish, my partner, is going to be presenting to you as to how this particular journey for all our companies, all the hatchlings are going to be multiplying. One of the key theses of ours is the people approach. I forgot to mention, being different. We are a fund which is far more people-oriented. Sanjay Pandey is a person who is complete leadership development guy, external coach. He brings the best out of every entrepreneur that we come across. And he's able to identify that particular talent in them. We're able to push. Sanjay is able to enable them and guide them to add talent. Not only does that for them, he's doing that for YourNest as well. He was the first guy to say, get Dr. Vivek Mansingh on board. Yes, it was perseverance for 6 months or so or plus to get him on board, but we love you, Vivek. And I must tell you, that was a noble moment in my life when I was at Vivek's home. He showed a picture signed by Steve Jobs of his own, in his own handwriting. Vivek, I couldn't have done it without you. He's the person who's worked with and thank you. It's an honor to have you as a GP with us. In this audience, there are a few people who are now willing to join us more. We are not going to be stopping at 4. We're going to be multiplying this team going forward so that we are here to serve you for decades and decades to come and keep contributing. We were a startup 5 years ago. We will remain a startup, but a startup with a 5 years of experience. As VCs, whenever we get an opportunity to invest and look at a serial entrepreneur, we go 2 steps ahead to invest in them. And sometimes we even offer a little extra value because we know a serial entrepreneur will be able to do a much better job than the first-time entrepreneur. Today, we're going to be offering you the units of the second fund at face value because we are a startup, but a startup with an experience. There is something changing. 2 years ago when I stood in front of you, the SEBI certificate of ours used to call in Hindi venture capital as Jokhim Punji. Thankfully, now they say it is Anukalpik Nivesh Vidhi. It's an alternate asset to own. It is an alternate asset to own, and we believe it is not only a great asset to own for us. Now, the emerging market private equity association has done a survey. Just in 3 years, the life has changed from India being the 9th preferred destination to the 2nd most preferred destination after China to be the choice of for alternate assets. With that, I thank you and welcome you for the entire day of high engagements. Cheers.